Good morning. We are starting Tanya chapter 13. Just to briefly summarize where we were holding at the end of Tanya chapter 12, we were speaking about Yosef and his brothers. And I remember having the discussion. And for me, it was quite a powerful idea, this idea of forgiveness and this idea of realizing that everything comes from Hashem. Just like Yosef was, so to say, really betrayed by his brothers. The English words aren't coming to my mind, but it's like he was really like, his brothers really wronged him, basically. And yet, he said it was God. He said it was God. His brothers basically, for all intents and purposes, tried to kill him, did kill him, tried to kill him. Not did as in tried to kill him, that's what I mean. Like he tried to kill him, that didn't happen, sold him to slavery. Yet, he said to his brothers, you know what, it was God that did this, God did this. So unbelievable, when I say strength, courage, humility from Yosef, but the lesson in our lives is recognizing that everything comes from God and not blaming the messenger in a way. And we're going to continue that theme into Tanya chapter 13 with quite a powerful take-home message. So we're going to start. I don't know if we're going to finish Tanya chapter 13 today. I doubt it. But let's just start. So, our sages say that the Beinoni is judged by both his inclinations, by both his good, or the Yetzer Tova, and the Yetzer Hara, the good and evil inclination, or in other words, from the animal soul and the godly soul. Remember, I'm emphasizing this point, this is only the Beinoni, only the average person is judged equally. We've discussed before that the tzaddik is leaning towards good and the Rash is leaning towards bad to different degrees, but the Beinoni is equal. And then there's a pasuk. The pasuk comes and says, he stands at the right hand of the poor man to save him from them that judge his soul. At first glance, this pasuk seems not to be speaking about the Beinoni. This pasuk seems to be speaking about the Rasha. He's a poor man, right? To save him from the judge, to save him maybe from the evil inclination. But we are actually understanding this as the Beinoni. The Beinoni is a poor man. Now, something to think about, something to ponder, but this is like, if a person truly internalizes this, it's unbelievable. We are saying that your average Jew, not only your average Jew, we are saying, it's not easy to say the word average, but we don't understand what the word average means. Average doesn't mean average. Average means the Beinoni. Your Beinoni is mamash struggling. A Beinoni is a poor man. How much more so, as the expression goes, al-achas kama v'kama, how much more so, like 100,000 times, the Rasha, a person who's not a Beinoni, on the lower end of the spectrum, is a poor man. Crazy thought. So nevertheless, the Beinoni is a poor man, and that means the Beinoni is in the state of a struggle, that he's really struggling, and he needs help. So let's continue reading. Now, the sages do not say that the Beinoni is ruled by both inclinations. The sages said the Beinoni is judged by both inclinations. Can't be ruled by both at the same time. So, this judge, Alter Rebbe explains, is like a magistrate who gives his opinion. So in another, excuse me, sorry, I was sick and my throat's still a bit funny, but thank God I can give a share now. The Beinoni has these two judges, these two magistrates. Potentially you can think of them as lawyers. The point is, there are two people expressing their opinion. That's the point. Don't worry about the wording, the name calling. There's two Yateses, There's two inclinations giving their opinion in the Benoni. That's the point. However, there is another judge. So in other words, the Yetzer Hara gives his opinion, but you have the Yetzer Tov who argues, and then the Yetzer Tov gives his opinion, and then you have the Yetzer Hara who argues. So from either perspective, there's always this other judge. So how can you win? If you have two people having an intellectual debate, if you realize, and you know, when I was in school, they had debating in school and they had debating competitions. It's all nonsense. Excuse my French. Because what is it? It's just an intellectual debate based on a subjective opinion. Who's right? They're both right. They're both wrong. It doesn't matter. In other words, they're having a debate about something. This person is told to debate for it, and this person is told to debate against it. And who's the winner is the person who gives a better argument. In deep down, no one's a winner, because both of them are just debating, and they're just going to keep arguing against each other and arguing and arguing and arguing and arguing and arguing and arguing until the end of time, for all intents and purposes. That's the two inclinations that we have. The Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara. They're just going to argue and debate and argue and debate and argue and debate. There really is no winner. You get the point? There is no winner. But what happens? There needs to be an arbitrator, and the arbitrator gives the final verdict. So, that's what happens. The final verdict comes from the arbitrator, who, in the case of the Benoni, is Hashem. So now, I don't know, for whatever reason, chapter 13 is mind-blowing over here. The mechanics of the Benoni. Then it says, if Hashem did not help him, he could not overcome his evil inclination. So this help from Hashem comes from the radiance of the divine light, which illuminates the divine soul, giving it the upper hand and mastery over the folly of the fool and evil nature of the animal soul, in the way of the manner of light over darkness. So we 8 minutes in, and I haven't even read a page. There is so much stuff going on over here. So first of all, light over darkness. Have you ever heard this concept that the truth will win? The truth will finally win and reveal itself. That's true. That concept is true. That concept is the Torah. And the ultimate truth, which is the coming of Mashiach, will be the ultimate truth, and it will reveal itself. Please God now. But obviously, it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. That's the point. And so too, in the Benoni, in the average Yid, that's what happens, is that the Benoni has the struggle of truth and falsehood inside of him. He's got the animal soul and the godly soul. Yet when he's going through a struggle, as we said before, the Benoni is in a state that he does not want to sin. And he cannot sin. He's in a state that he cannot sin. So now think about this. The person is in a state he will not sin. The person is in a state, I will not sin. I want to do the holy thing. I want to bring Hashem's presence into every facet of my life. So then comes a struggle, an internal battle within the Benoni, that he has these two voices in his head. The animal soul, the godly soul. The animal soul, the godly soul. And because deep down, what does he really want? He wants the light of the godly soul to shine. He wants the light of truth to shine. So Hashem is the arbitrator. And Hashem, even though the battle's very tight and tense, and in a way maybe the godly soul's a bit weaker, maybe even, but because he really wants to win, Hashem, well, that's maybe one of the reasons, because he really wants to win. There could be other reasons as well. But Hashem shines extra light in his godly soul, shining the lightness, the truth of the situation in his godly soul. And that gives it the ability to give the upper hand and to dominate. and to win the battle. That basically is the mechanism of the fight of the Benoni. My question is, how do we apply this not to the Benoni? How do we apply this to your average Yid? And I say the word average, and not unfortunately, but in a way realistically, to your average Yid who's not at the level of the Benoni. And I shouldn't use the word average, because now I don't mean to be confusing. This is a bit more for bringing. But the point I'm trying to get across is your average, your 99% of Yidden, right? What do we call them? Average, not average, below average. Your modern day Yid, who has these struggles inside of him, who really, really has these struggles, and is not on the level of Benoni. In a way, certain times, the animal soul is even stronger. But if he digs deep enough within himself, and he is able within himself to dig and to tune into the holy light of his godly soul, maybe that is the answer. That is the answer. Because when he digs deep down, deep enough, with enough strength and force and perseverance, what's going to happen? He's going to find the truth. So even if the battle is so outweighed that the animal soul is like really dominant, if he digs deep enough, he'll be able to bring the strength, to bring that light which exists deep beneath the surface, bring it out. And once the light, the truth of the godly soul shines, then the battle's over and the godly soul wins. That's what my personal opinion is. Again, I can only say, when I read the Alter Rebbe's words, I can tell you what he says. However, when I'm interpreting the Tanya and understanding the Tanya and bringing home practical advice, to a certain degree, that's my opinion and the way I understand it. And the point of this understanding is not for theory, it's for practice. It's a really important point to put out there. Practice, the point is to, excuse me, the point is to come home with practical advice. Okay. So the Alter Rebbe continues, and we will continue a bit more. Inasmuch as the evil in the heart of the Benoni is still there and has not been nullified, in other words, it's still there, unlike the tzaddik, okay, it's still there, just it isn't given space to express itself in actuality. So the most it can do is it can voice its opinion. In the case of the Benoni, so what do we have? We have a saying of a Mishnah. Even if the whole world tells you that you are righteous, example the Benoni, in your own eyes regard yourself as if you were wicked. As if you were wicked. Not that you were actually wicked. That's the Benoni. Think about it. You're not actually wicked. You're not actually doing things which are incorrect, which are unholy. But as if you are wicked. But potentially as if you are wicked. You got the potential for that evil inside of you. You have that evil voice inside of you. That is not given this platform for thought, speech, and action. But the potential is there. The inner deep craving is there. That's why it says, even if the world is telling you you are righteous, don't think you are righteous. Consider yourself as if you are wicked. Recognize that even if your thought, speech, and action is holy, and even if for years you have not recognized that deep down you have a craving of evil, a craving of wickedness, realize As if you're wicked, realize that that evil craving is still there beneath the surface, and do not put down your guard, because if you do, chas v'sholem, most likely that evil craving will surface and will gain strength. That is what the Mishnah is saying. It's beautiful. And in a way, the take-home message for your yid who's below the Beinoni is beautiful, because it's saying to the yid below the Beinoni, in a particular area, you might be considered a righteous person. In a particular situation, maybe for years in this area you are holy, don't consider yourself actually holy. That evil, wicked craving is there beneath the surface. And always keep your guard up. That is the take-home message for your below Beinoni. And one last point. Besides the fact that you have that wicked evil inclination deep down, that wicked evil desire deep down from birth, what is the truth? There's a deeper truth. It's gotten stronger. It's not just that you think it's gotten weaker because it's not manifesting. It's actually gotten stronger. Even though it hasn't been actualizing in thought, speech, and action, its inner deeper potential deep down beneath the surface has gotten stronger as man has indulged in eating, drinking, and other mundane pursuits. Therefore, it's gotten stronger. Therefore, every day that passes in one's life, one has to get even more and more worried and more concerned of his own evil inclination. That is a fascinating, interesting idea. On that note, we will end in the middle of chapter 13. Have a good day. And please God, Mashiach will come.